Pregame.com.
76ers at Bulls. We're going to be breaking it down here, pregame.tv. I am Steve Fezzik here with Bryan Leonard, and we're just discussing the dregs of the NBA, and it doesn't get much lower right now than the Philadelphia 76ers. What has happened to this team, Bryan?
You know, it's funny because I've got my notes here, and we just got the final on the game. My note says Philadelphia's 4-7 against the spread off of a win. They just got blown out at home by Orlando Magic. I just assumed they would win that game. Sixers.
But Orlando's the worst team in the NBA? Oh. Maybe the second worst.
I still think they're the worst team.
Yes.
But the Sixers have lost 5 straight heading into that game against Orlando. So I guess 5-1 would be 6 straight. 6 straight losses now for Philadelphia. They've now lost 24 of the last 34 games straight up. This team's got a lot more talent than what this record is showing. How can you play Philadelphia at this point? I'm flabbergasted.
One thing that was shocking to me is that, and a friend of ours did play Philadelphia, and what was the world's greatest spot, Miami, the Heat had won 3 straight on the road trip. They had their last game of the road trip. They go into Philadelphia. Philly was getting 8.5 points, and they never have a chance. They just get smashed. I think that's one telling thing is when you get a team in these great spots, and they're still getting killed. I mean, you get Orlando, a decimated Orlando team, and you can't even be competitive. And then, of course, it's what starts happening is like every week becomes every game becomes, oh, this is another really good spot coming up. We off that embarrassing effort, we would expect with a day off that they'll bounce back here in their next game here against the Bulls, but they should have bounced back already numerous times, right?
Yeah, one of the things we've talked about on these videos is looking at teams when they play a team off of a loss. We've talked, you mentioned it on your Fezzik's Focus, I believe, earlier.
Every morning, Fezzik's Focus, 11 o'clock Eastern, no later than 11 o'clock Eastern, yes.
At pregame.com.
Pregame.com,
so
yes.
What company you're working for here. You got to give them a little plug.
Absolutely. And at the same pregame.com, let me give you a plug. You've got 2, right? You've got Brian's Diamonds, baseball on a daily basis. Yep. And have you changed the name yet? Brian's Derivatives?
Yeah, RJ made me change it to Pro Bets by BL. Not as catchy as Brian's Diamonds.
I like it. I like it.
We put out some derivative bets, and tonight we had Chicago points over, and so things like that. Things that you normally can't sell because a lot of people can't bet into it.
Sounds good. So we know that Philly is putrid. The Bulls. Do you think it's a little distraction? They're waiting for their point guard to maybe he'll come back, maybe he won't?
I think that's a terrible spot for any team to be in. You see it all the time, and they've had this the last 2 years. They've had to go through this. The Bulls right now playing the Cavaliers, but the 3-8 spread run as a home favorite, not playing well. It's not a team you really want to lay a lot of points with on most occasions. You take a look at the Bulls' offense. And granted, they have a lot of injuries, but out of their last 5 games heading into this Cleveland game, they've got scores of 72, 67, 69 points. This offense right now for Chicago is really struggling, and they're playing against a Philadelphia team who's not putting a lot of points on the board. Possibly an under here. It depends on what kind of line we get, but I know this is your play. We'll see what you have to say, but I'm a little torn on each side here.
Let me explain why I have the right side on this one. Let's go ahead and make it official.
You ever not had the right side, by the way?
Pardon me?
You ever not had the right side before the game started?
I always had the right side.
Okay.
Sometimes I may lose, but I have the right side. I can't tell you how many times I say that. My play here is on the Chicago Bulls. I think I am also going to play the 76ers to go under their team total. Still, I will look at that when I see the actual spread. Let me make a case for the Bulls. We know that the 76ers are god-awful, and nothing's going to change that. You could argue they're in a good spot here off that horrible loss that they had against Orlando. But look at the Bulls. The Bulls are a good team. They're off a 30-point loss against Oklahoma City where they're embarrassed. And then at home against Cleveland, they wind up, I'm sure they saw Irving was out. They took a deep breath and said, okay, this is our game. We're going to be able to roll here. And they wound up being a little bit just putting a stinker in the first half. And I think that'll be all the more reason they'll be focused to annihilate the 76ers team. And because the Bulls have been scoring so few points, I don't think we're going to have to lay as many points as we normally would have to. And because of that, I think we got great value. We're going to, not great value, but I think we've got solid value. We're going to go with the Bulls as a free play here in the NBA. Go ahead and stay tuned. We'll have another, actually we have a free play. Yes, Brian's going to break down the Minnesota Timberwolves against the Los Angeles Lakers. We have to talk about the Lakers at least one time every single week. He'll tell you what the right side is on that game. I'm pretty sure he'll give you a right side as well. Stay with us, pregame.tv.
Minnesota's